we're back.
Fade that out. Aggressive fade.
Aggressive fade.
Welcome back, folks. You know, last week's episode was really good, so now this one's got to go back downhill. So that's how it goes.
Oh.
We have one great one. Now the audio problems. Now we're fixing them. That'll be fine.
Mm-hmm. It's real life podcasting here.
Yeah.
We'll edit most of the stuff out. You may never know by the time Jacob's done working his wizardry.
Yeah. You may just think, wow, what are they even talking about? Nothing's even happened.
That's most of our podcasts. What are these guys even talking about? You know, we try to give people hunting and fishing tips and knowledge, and then they're like, oh, I don't like the knowledge. I like it when you two are morons on there and you're funny. And it's like, fine, I guess we'll try to be funny, but it's like we weren't trying to be morons. That's actually just...
we were trying. This was supposed to be a very serious and educational podcast.
It was trying to be, but it just... It's our 25th. It's our 25th episode, Jacob.
Our 25th anniversary.
We should celebrate something.
I don't know. Celebrate it by turkey hunting. That's what we're talking about today.
We're going to talk about turkey hunting. You had Trent on, Trent Ellis. That dude, he understands. That was a great podcast. I love listening to that. I wish I could have been there. You know, I got like 14 questions for him. But, you know, he brought up some interesting things about turkey hunting in the South, about how the turkeys don't gobble down there because there's so much hunting pressure.
Yeah,
is why they don't gobble. And then also predators too. I mean, you'll get areas where you got like lots of mountain lions or coyotes or stuff like that too, where, you know, this is how smart turkeys are. They're smart enough to figure out that, oh, if I gobble a whole bunch, we get shot, right? And yet people think turkeys are dumb, but they're really not, because they figure stuff out like, oh, well, we're not going to gobble. And so like he said, you know, so imagine trying to hunt turkeys when they don't gobble.
That's tough. I mean, up here it's a little different. They gobble.
Well, you know, depending upon your style of turkey hunting, which maybe we should break this down into different styles. So if you're in the upper Midwest, there's a few things you can do. So like you can go out, let's say you've never hunted turkeys before, like you don't have a clue what to do. I got Zeddy's in on the podcast today because every time I try to leave her out, she just sits there and whines and we hear her in the background. So Zeddy wants to be a star. She doesn't understand.
On camera, she looks just like a black void, which is absence of light.
She is that. She is her. We should have named her Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon, because that's what she looks like. Oh, yeah. Right on cue. So anyway, back when we were talking about, like, okay, I've never turkey hunted before. How do I turkey hunt?
Yep.
Well, we're going to go down the road. You're not going to hire a guide or an outfitter. Like, I'm going to do DIY. I'm doing this myself.
First things first, you got to go get in your truck and go look for turkeys.
Well, that's what I was going to say. That's a good point. So here's what you do. You go drive around and you look for turkeys out in the field.
Yep.
Now, that'll work in some areas, but if they are high pressured and they've been shot at, turkeys will actually lay down flat so you can't see them. They'll run. They'll just, they won't come out. So you gotta try to approach, you may have to sit back a ways and look with binoculars and try to find these turkeys. So first, number one, yes, you got to find a place that has turkeys. And this is how I killed my turkey last year in Minnesota. I actually went for a drive the evening before. And what we call this, sometimes we call it putting the turkeys to bed. Because turkeys roost in trees every night to sleep.
People don't know that.
A lot of people don't know that.
Yep, they fly up there and they sit on a branch.
Yep, they sit on a branch, and I don't know how they sleep without falling out of the tree, but they don't. They get up on that limb and they just hunker down and they fall asleep, and they roost in trees and they sleep at night. So, knowing this, obviously them turkeys have to roost somewhere. Now, it doesn't have to be a giant tree. I've seen turkeys roost in 10-foot tall pine trees.
Yeah.
I've seen them roost in 100-foot tall cottonwoods.
Yeah.
It's And like we've seen too, like a turkey may roost in a tree, and as soon as he flies down, he can go 2 miles over to where they're feeding.
Yeah.
We've seen them fly down and go 2 miles across the section where we had to go follow them with the truck
Yeah.
because they didn't come our way. So, number one, you got to find where the turkeys are. And then obviously, you want to, I guess, number two would be to figure out where they're roosting at night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And probably one of the easiest ways to hunt turkeys is to find the field that they like to be in because they'll come
Yeah.
out and they'll feed in these fields, usually alfalfa fields or pick corn fields, or, they like food plots too. Last year's leftover clover plot. They like the big woods too, but we'll get to that later. So right now we're driving around. We see some turkeys out in the field. We have to go drive into that, find out who owns that land, and we go up to that farmer's door and we knock on the door and we ask if we can hunt turkeys. And a lot of times they'll say yes.
Yeah. Most farmers, they don't really care about turkeys.
Yeah, they don't really care about turkeys.
That's a little different.
It's a different story.
But turkeys, if you're nice, they'll usually let you.
Yep. So that's what I did. I was driving around. I seen a bunch of turkeys out in the field. I kind of figured, okay, they're gonna root, so then I sat back and I watched them to kind of see where they headed off to, what direction, because I knew they were heading to roost. So the next morning, I got up really early. I had gotten permission. I called the farmer, and he said, "Yep, go for it." So I got in there really early in the morning. I hiked in there, set up my ground blind, put my decoys out. 6:30 in the morning, I was on my way back out with a big tom. You can see that video on Lindemann Outdoors. Great turkey
ground blind and decoy setup. That's kind of our bread and butter.
Well, because we're bow hunters.
Yeah, we're bow hunters, so it's kind of hard. It's with shotguns, it's easier to get away with things, but bow hunting, you got a lot of movement.
A lot of movement. You need that ground blind to help hide you drawing. Now, I have shot them off the ground without a ground blind. Wearing a ghillie suit, but setting my decoys, but I still use decoys. See, a lot of people down south, they don't use decoys. A lot of people who hunt turkeys don't use decoys. They just call to the turkey, and that turkey comes looking for you, and then they're just waiting there to intercept them. But for bow hunting, shot placement is critical because it's a small target. We need them to come in and present us with a good close bow hunting shot.
Yeah, and turkeys are tough to hit with a bow, and
they are. Their vitals.
If you don't hit them right, you're not killing it.
So exactly, and we'll come back to shot placement on turkeys.
Yeah,
we'll try to stay on track here. Yeah. We're gonna talk. So that's one technique that you can do. You can drive around. You can find the turkeys. That's step one. Now, if you can't hunt in a field, a lot of turkeys are everywhere. They're in the swamp. They're in the big woods. This depends where you are. So number one, you got to locate turkeys. Different, styles of hunting. Like Jacob talked about, ground blind, decoys. We call them in. Usually in the spring, if you got a Jake decoy out with a couple hen decoys with that Jake, that whole love triangle, as we call it, they cannot. That big Tom's going to come in there and he's going to kick the crap out of that Jake.
Yep. And it's pretty funny sometimes these birds will just. We were one time hunting this huge field. It's really long field, not very wide, but we had these turkeys, these two Toms come out, and they were just running every other bird that come out onto the field.
Well,
and they're just sprinting back and forth in this. Yeah. I don't know, what was that, quarter mile long?
Yeah, very territorial. And actually, that got those birds killed because I was like, oh, I know how to get you. So, like that day, we had a gobbler coming towards our decoys, and then these other two ran him off. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So the next day, we brought the strutter decoy out there, and they come right into that because, of course, they thought they were going to run him off, and instead they caught a muzzy from Jacob.
Yeah.
And then we went back and killed the other one with a shotgun. Your mom shot that one, so.
Yeah. Mom's a good shot with a shotgun. She takes those turkeys down.
Yep.
And and the next thing, how to hunt a turkey. You
I
get
don't
your
know if it's a
decoys,
turkey.
and I think you should talk about really how you set up your decoys. Because
Well,
you just said throw a Jake and a couple hens out there. You can't just throw them out there.
no. So what you want to do is that tom will come right to your Jake decoy.
You know,
So
like,
if you're bow hunting, I put that Jake decoy probably about 15 to 20 yards max away from the blind.
you know,
I try to, you know, that tom's going to come in face to face. He'll face up that. And a lot of times they'll come from the back of it too. They'll circle around it. You know, so usually I put my decoy facing my blind, so that way when the tom comes in there, he'll fan up, and then I'll be able to draw my bow because he won't be able to see me when he's got his fan turned towards me.
you can really see that. I should almost pull up that YouTube video.
Get that clip in there.
Yeah, because from my hunt, that it does it perfectly.
Yep. Oh, I thought you were gonna put my hunt on there. Jeez.
Well, your hunt is kind of hard because they come off from the side. You can't see it as well because you're solo hunting. You have it on. Once they come in, you can see it.
Yep. So, you want those decoys close because, like I said, you're aiming for the turkey's vitals. They're about the size of a small orange, and what you want to do is you want to. First of all, they got some good charts out there. Jacob will post those to this video if you have those still.
You're talking
As
about
well.
this one?
The shot placement on turkey. Yep. See, everybody thinks that the vitals are much lower than that, and they're not.
Yeah, I'll put this picture up in the edit, but so we can continue talking about that. But I'll hold it where I'll put it. So
Yeah, put it down just a little bit. So there you go. So right there, you can see if you go right up the leg, and then above that horizontal brown color on the wing, that's where you want to aim. They got a saying, shoot 'em high, watch 'em die. Shoot 'em low, watch 'em go. Now, if you're shotgun hunting, it's easy. You just put your bead right on the head and let them have it.
let it rip.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times I'll call to get that turkey to stick his neck up, so that way you got way more target area. But while Jacob's pulling for this video, I'll keep talking about how it's important to have those decoys close. A lot of people want to put those far out. You don't want that. That's too much time for a turkey to move or duck or do something. Also, you want to use a broadhead. That's the biggest expandable broadhead you can find.
Yeah.
Because your margin of error is so small, you want to make sure that you can hit that spot just perfectly.
You seeing what I'm seeing?
Yep.
Okay. So you can see over here the turkey's coming in. I'll full screen this. And I'll just mute this for now.
Yeah, so this is the day after we'd seen those two run our birds off. And like I told Jake, we were talking about here, I'm like, well, so good tip of you got a very aggressive couple gobblers that you've seen out in the field, that are beating up other turkeys and running the turkeys off. Just you want to gauge the mood of the turkeys as you're hunting and calling them.
And one thing we should point out here, as you can see, our camera's having trouble focusing is because we have our ground blind just brushed in so hardcore.
Yep.
And you can see this turkey is trying to square up this other tom shutter we have.
Yeah, because we got a lay down breeder, Avian X lay down hen. That decoy there, we made this decoy out of an old Mojo Reaper decoy, and we got a real fan on there, and it's kind of freaking signed together. I got some spray foam in there.
Here's the shot placement.
Well, this is where the turkey turned his back to you. I guess.
Which honestly is a good shot.
Right. If you can shoot him right behind the wings, right where the colors, see where that brown color meets the black right there? Yep. And so if you just put your cursor up just a little bit, Jacob, up to the right a little bit.
I was aiming like right there.
Yep.
You follow all the legs, right where that meets the brown and that meets there. Yep. You can see in this shot. Right there. See
Yeah,
if I can
perfect shot.
I'll try and pause it. Yeah, so you can see right above where the brown hits the black, right in the
Yeah,
center of the body. When they're
yeah,
facing away from you, it's a lot easier of a shot.
yeah. So that was a perfect shot. That's the thing too. And if they're all fanned up with their butt towards you, well, now you can draw your bow.
You know,
A lot of people are like, oh, just take that Texas heart shot and try to send one in through the back door.
which we'll go back to the setup here. You can see we have one hen over here.
Yeah, that's the lay down hen.
Then we have a lay down
AVMX.
hen with the strutter, and this turkey's just coming in pissed off.
Yep. And there's another upright hen to the right there.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's what it looks like to that turkey. It looks like, hey, this fool just moved in here and took two of my women.
Yep.
They ain't gonna put up with that. No. You see he's all strutted up here and he then realizes that one hen is in the breeder position and he's like, no, I don't think so.
Yep.
So he's gonna move in there on her. And I think actually right here, he's about to spin. I think he heard us or seen us or something.
I was trying to draw, so I think he heard me a little bit, so he's kind
Yeah.
of backing away. So I quickly took the
Yeah.
shot here.
So now he's bugging out and he's about to get one.
Yep. Which we'll watch it again because best shot I've ever hit on a turkey.
Yeah, that one was right on.
Yep.
Um,
Which, funny enough,
why don't you pull mine up?
I was like, well, I'll pull that up. You should tell him how the day before I actually missed a turkey with my bow. And you should tell him why. We found out. It was the same morning, wasn't
It
it?
was the same morning. We called like
Yeah,
four
so-
gobblers in. You
Yeah.
missed the first one.
Just
And
to the
we're-
left. We're like, what the heck?
Yeah, you shot like twice. So then we went and grabbed your arrows that you shot, and we took your bow and you shot one. I was like, here, shoot that mud ball 20 yards from there. And here you were hitting 3 inches to the left. Those arrows, the broadhead's already ruined. So we were down to only having one arrow left, basically.
Yep.
And then I'm like, hey, make sure you aim 3 inches to the left. Because that's where your bow's hitting.
Yep.
And after you shot that turkey, you kind of looked at the camera and you're like, 3 inches to the left.
Your Minnesota one? Well,
Yeah.
this video you shoot 3 birds because you have 2 birds in 2 different states.
Yeah, one was with a
Maybe
shotgun.
We'll
Which,
show the shotgun one.
We'll show the shotgun one. I'm not opposed to shooting a turkey in the face with a bunch of number 6s.
Oh, we do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here we go. You seeing it?
Yep.
So
this,
here's a setup again. He's got
Yep.
Jake right on my cursor. Can you see my cursor?
Yep.
And then he's got a hen behind it, and he's got a lay down one. You can't really see it, but it's in the tall grass there.
Yep, she's right in front.
And then down here you can see the POV. You can see the turkey coming in. So we'll press play, and you can talk what's happening.
Yeah, so same deal. I'd put these turkeys to bed the night before, and then I started calling to them, which we'll kind of get into our next sequence of how do you call these turkeys. We're kind of talking about how do you shoot them now.
Yeah.
So, of course, here comes this big West River Merriam's turkey in all strutted up. And he's going to, it's the same thing. He's going to posture up to my decoy because he's trying to, separate him from the hens.
Which you should explain why you're taking your time on this. Because there's actually more birds coming.
Oh, yeah,
He's got multiple tags.
there's a whole pile of birds. And so I was trying to get all the other gobblers to come in there so I could whack 2 of them. But eventually this is just such a big gobbler. I mean, he's huge. He's Merriam's gobbler. He's got a long beard, which is rare for those types. The footage was so perfect here. Finally, I'm just like, well, I need to,
Let me adjust my camera so I get a better shot.
I need to adjust my camera so I get a better shot. And then I wait for him to, boom. So I'm shooting, and I'm using a little 20 gauge there. with some tungsten super shot, some TSS, which was, that turkey was only at 20 yards. I could have killed him with a slingshot, but this is back to Minnesota here. And this is where I was talking about where I put those turkeys to bed the night before, and now they're coming in. And here, same deal here. I only have one tag in Minnesota, but I got a big gobbler coming in from the right, and he's got a bunch of little subordinate ones coming from behind him.
But you can just see him coming on the right there.
Yeah.
And here he comes sprinting mad.
Yeah, he sees this decoy, and he's like, I don't think so, bud. And so he comes in. Here he's all postured up. I think he beats up the decoy a little bit here. Yep, this is what we love right here.
So you can see he's got more on the right coming in, too.
Yeah, he's kicking the crap out of this decoy. I'm trying to see here. I can't remember when then there's more gobblers coming in.
Just smoke him, and he's dead.
Yep. So let's back up. Let's back up there. I don't know. I don't know if you can zoom in. Okay, so here's the angle. Yeah. So here's that turkey's quartering towards me.
Yep.
So Jacob, if you take your cursor and put it in line with the wing, right? Yeah, right. Now go forward towards his head a little bit. Right there is where I was aiming. To put that through his whole body right there.
Yeah.
So he's quartering towards me. I'm visualizing where that heart and stuff is. And then...
Which, I look at this, I don't know if you can see it, but I look at I'll pop this photo again. This screenshot we have of the inside, the skeletal and the organs of a turkey. I look at that right when I start hearing turkey coming. I pull out my phone and I double check that every time because I don't want to mess up.
Yeah. Because it's deceiving with all those feathers. So you can see that arrow goes in perfectly right in front of that wing butt joint there. This turkey...
Yeah, just dead.
And I'm surprised he actually got up. But it's funny because he takes like 2 steps over here and falls over dead. And then, of course, now I start messing with all the other turkeys that were with him. They were some jakes. And
you're calling at them and making
another gobbler. But anyway.
We'll fast forward to the nice picture of that turkey.
Yeah, there he is.
There he is.
So what was cool about that hunt is that I'd put that turkey, it had everything that you'd ever want of a turkey hunt. I put him to bed. I did the scouting. I got the permission. I put him to bed the night before. I called them in. They'd actually come out onto the field probably 70 yards on the right side of me. So I called them all in. Made a good shot. Had him die on camera. Heck, I even made it back to work that morning. So it was...
I remember you texted. I wasn't even up yet because I couldn't come home for that one. And you texted me like, "Yep, I got one." I woke up and you was like, "Oh, I hear him coming in. Oh, I'm gonna take the shot. Here one comes." And then I just get sent a picture of the turkey. I'm like, I just woke up. It's like 7:30.
Dead. Actually, it was 6:30.
Well, when I woke up.
Oh yes.
I was in college still. I was going to class.
Yeah. But anyway, that was awesome hunt. So we'll talk a little bit about. So how did I call those turkeys? I know you got your turkey call out. So
this is my favorite.
Yeah, it's Woodhaven. You should hit us up. Zeddy loves that as well.
I forget the name of this one, but it's like the most popular one. It's like the easiest one.
I think it's the red wasp.
Yeah, it's the little red wasp.
So here's the thing with turkey calls. Probably the easiest ones to blow are the one they call a ghost cut. You have one of those too.
Yeah.
Or a single reed call is easier. You just want to find one for if you're a beginner that's really easy to blow. And there's a lot of companies out there that make one that they'll, just get yourself a good single reed call. I don't know if we have time we'll maybe wait and do a whole how to call turkeys segment.
Well, I want you to rate. I've been practicing. I want you to rate this turkey call. Okay.
Okay, first, here, we'll do a little bit before you do this, Jacob.
Okay.
One of the number one rules of a mouth diaphragm call is you have to warm it up.
Yep.
Okay, so you got to put it in your mouth, and you got to. Sometimes I'll blow air on it, or I'll try to hum a little bit. You know.
That'll be our next podcast. Well, our next one's going to be in Winnipeg, but
You want to start getting it to make a note. And it should tickle your tongue a little bit if you're doing it right. Because you're putting this against the roof of your mouth and you're putting some pressure on there. And I'm not, you know,
well, here I'll stand up. You have to blow from your diaphragm. It's like
yeah.
because the number one thing with you, if you try to make the sound, you're not going to do it. You have to just use air.
You have to let the reed make the sound, and you got to blow a note first. So if you can make that note go first. Right? So you get that note. And then from there, you can open and, you can drop your jaw and push more air. And then you want to say the word chuck, right? But you don't actually say it, but you're pushing air like you're saying it. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay. So then there's clucking and yelping and purring. So like that chuck is more of the cluck. Okay.
Clucking is hard.
Yeah, which is hard. And then yelping is like when you're actually yep. That's more of the yelp,
Yeah, I'm good at that one.
So
that's
turkeys,
how I killed my last turkey.
And if you can only yelp, that's all you need to do when you'll kill a turkey. Just yelp soft. That's a turkey call. Zeddy's going like crazy.
5 times. Because that's how I killed my last turkey. You just go like, yep, 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 yep.
Yep, that's like, you got to have that cadence, of the yelp, 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 yelp. Yep, just like that. And then if you can, so then you have your clucks off of that. And then if you can roll your tongue a little bit, you can do some of the purrs. It's not pearls, purrs.
See, that sequence is, if you've never tried a diaphragm call, that is the hardest sequence ever. And he's so good at it, but it just pisses me off. Because I try. I can only do the yelps, and I can kind of do the clucks.
Yeah, but what brings them turkeys in, when they're hung up, if you can go...
Because that's like a pissed off hen that's like, get over here right now.
Yeah.
And and the yelps work. I called my last, it's on, last year's hunt. I called in 5 turkeys that weekend.
Yeah, and a lot of times in the spring, like Jacob's heard me, I've gotten into calling matches against a live hen turkey.
That's tough.
And I'll sit there and I'll get her pissed off and I'll cluck back to her and back and forth. And and when you can do that, you can call turkeys in. But like you got a turkey coming close, like he's 40 yards or 50 yards out.
Yeah, get soft.
Just real soft calling and purring. Just real soft clucks. Now, here's places to practice your turkey call.
Do it in your house. Make your wife mad.
Your wife or girlfriend or whoever will be really mad at you for practicing calling turkeys in your house. On your way to work in your car, great place to practice calling turkeys.
Keep it in there.
Yeah, just keep it in your car. You'll be driving places. because you got to work. You got to be able to transition back and forth through those calls if you really want to get good at calling the turkeys in. Now you can get box calls. You can do the same thing, slate calls, but because we bow hunt, and then plus I can just do so many more calls on the mouth call.
Yeah. Plus, if you're ever looking to go buy one, these Woodhaven ones, we're not sponsored at all. It's got this little V cut. That's probably the easiest one to do. Or they have an orange one that's good. They're all good, but they're all different. Some are a little raspier, some are a little higher, some are a little more sharp.
And it's good to have 3 or 4 different ones because some, there's been many times I'm like, oh, I'm going to try this call. So I'll flip them out, and then every once in a while they have one that just hits and they come right in. But as you can hear, like this last call I just did, the calling's getting better as I go because my call's getting warmed up and you're getting that latex warm, so it makes more sounds there. But really, if you can yelp, you just yelp a few notes, and that cadence is important, like Jacob was saying.
Yeah.
That's all you need to do to kill a turkey.
Yeah.
And when you see them start coming, just shut up.
Yeah. Don't overcall.
Wait for them to come in.
Yeah. And if they're kind of, if they're hung up, they're kind of looking at the stuff, just the light, soft, little clucks and purrs are good.
That's what I do when I want them in close.
That's a good one. When the worst part is there's a video, my last year's hunt, the one where my D-loop broke and stuff. I have a hen come in and was making all sorts of sounds, and he sounds just like it. And I'm getting better, but
that's what you need to do. Like when I really get dialed in turkey hunting is about halfway through the season when I've heard a bunch of live hens.
Yeah.
And I just try to mimic the sounds that they're doing. And you gotta kind of read turkeys' moods too. They have them things are, there's a thing called the turkey rut. As it progresses through the year here, if you go hunt them too early, they're still in their winter feed modes, and they haven't started, breeding yet. And it all
April.
Yeah, there's phases of it. There's stuff online for that, and we can dive into that more as turkey season goes on. But
yeah, we'll be doing it. So we'll be doing the phases of turkey season.
Yeah,
so we'll be hunting them.
But no, we're heading to Lake Winnipeg ice fishing, our last ice fishing trip of the year. Because
as you listen to this, as it comes out, I'll post it before we leave. We'll be driving to Winnipeg.
Yep. We'll be driving to Lake Winnipeg to try to get some big greenback walleyes and finish off our ice fishing year, which has been pretty good overall. We've caught a lot of fish, and it's ice fishing. The weather wasn't always perfect, but excited about that. Looking forward to turkey season like you can't believe. I just cannot wait to go turkey hunting.
People who get it, get it. People who don't, never will.
You need to go online, Jacob, and buy your archery tag.
Oh, yeah, I will. Yep. We'll do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I bought a new lure for Winnipeg. I'm going to try this out. And the color is called Bubblegum Tiger. And I just think that's the best name anyone's ever come up with.
Bubblegum Tiger.
Bubblegum Tiger. I will be determined to catch a big walleye on Bubblegum Tiger.
I might change my nickname from Iceman to Bubblegum Tiger.
It's such a good name. Bubblegum Tiger.
I love that.
We'll have LL CoolJ play us out.
You're going to fade us out. Nice.
Fade us out with a little LL CoolJ. Mama said knock you out.